Bam, bada bing, bada boom, and we in here. Let's go. I'm excited-ish. This is gonna be a good tasting. You know, spoilers. I already did part of this tasting on the Instagram live. So it's not a huge surprise, but we're gonna talk about some other stuff. There's some teas I haven't tasted yet. So let's just get right into it as I watch my dogs who are hungry and a little bored, so a little mischievous. So we're going to get into some Tie Guan Yin. We're going to talk Tie Guan Yin. I haven't talked Tie Guan Yin in a while. Hello, pumpkin. And no, I'm sorry. Come on, come in. Hi, Johnny. I wish there was like a floor cam so you could see the dogs as they do everything. For those of you who don't know, as you can see, I've moved. I now live in a traditional Huizhou style household, which is cool. So, today we're going to jump right in. We're going to be tasting Tie Guan Yin. Tie Guan Yin autumn season just ended. Unique thing about Tie Guan Yin, as opposed to other teas, is that the autumn season of Tie Guan Yin sells for the same price as the spring season. As compared to, let's say, Pu'er, where the autumn season's prices are considerably lower than this spring season. The autumn season of Tie Guan Yin sells for roughly the same price. They say autumn soup, spring fragrance, meaning the autumn teas tend to have more body, have more soup, but spring teas tend to have more body, have more soup. The autumn teas tend to have more fragrance. Spring soup, autumn fragrance. What's the Chinese? What's the Chinese? Chun tang qiu xiang. I think it is. Chun tang qiu xiang. I think that's the Chinese. Don't sue me. Alright, so I reached out to somebody who lives in Gande, and anyone who is a fan of Tie Guan Yin, I got to speak for a second. Anyone who's a fan of Tie Guan Yin, Anxi Tie Guan Yin, and maybe even Taiwanese Tie Guan Yin, should be familiar with the name Gande. Gande is the most popular, most famous area in Anxi for Tie Guan Yin. Sorry, I got my phone off to the side. I'm having a conversation with someone. Sorry, it threw me off a little bit. So, most famous. I'm not going to say it's the best, because it's not going to say it's the best. I don't think it's the best. I do think there's a particular characteristic to Gande Tie Guan Yin, so we're going to get into that in a second. But it's the most famous. It's the most... gets some of the highest prices consistently, yada, yada, yada. It's the name you should know if you're a Tie Guan Yin fan. So, this is from a guy I met in Gande, and he, I think, used to make tea, but now he's more of a middleman sort of person. And he is the middleman, actually. As in the farmers, the first thing a number of farmers do when they wake up in the morning and they collect their newly finished teas is they go to him. That's the first thing they do. I was sitting in his house 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was just farmer after farmer coming in, having him try their teas to see if he was going to sell it, or if he was going to buy it. This is important to know for anyone who ever goes to Gande or Anxi, or let's talk about Gande, and probably all of Anxi, at least the famous places, because he said this specifically. He said, you get a lot of people, and they come into Anxi, they come into the Gande, and they come into the villages, and the villages, they have a street, and all the people are selling their tea in the street. Like you walk down the street, and they've kind of set up little tables and whatnot. It's a lot of fun. None of that's going to be the best tea. He said, because by noon, by 12 o'clock, the best teas are sold. Because of people like him. Because people wake up, finish their tea, and they take it to somebody who they know knows quality and who they know will give a good price for whatever that tea is. And I gotta say, he was turning down more teas than he was accepting. And man, I was there for not. I was sitting next to him for not that long. 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, not even less than an hour. And I must have drank at least 6 Tie Guan Yins, 6 to 9 Tie Guan Yins. It was insane. It was really, really insane. And so I messaged him and I was like, hey, send me the best Tie Guan Yin. And he sent me a Tie Guan Yin that cost about 600 RMB. I bought a 600 yuan Tie Guan Yin, which is about a little less than $100, and a 500 yuan Tie Guan Yin. I think right now the conversion between American, US, and RMB is 1 to 7, so gives you a little bit of a thing there. So 600 and 500. But in the package, he included some samplers. Well, the one I'm about to get into right now is a 300 RMB. And this one is an 1800 RMB. So even though I asked for the best, he ended up sending me one that was triple the price. Which makes me think, and this is a very, very interesting thing to think about, he didn't send me the best. He sent me the best that he thought I would buy. And I think this is a very, very important idea to understand because I think even a lot of Western companies do this. In fact, I almost know a lot of Western companies do this. You have a company who sources from China or they live in China. They source from China, whether they come to China or they live there. The teas they sell are not actually the best teas they find or the best teas they have access to. As much as they say, we sell the best teas, they don't. A lot of the times, they sell the best teas that they think they can sell. And I know this from talking to them. I know this from conversations of me potentially being a middleman. There's been quite a few companies who have approached me for Maofeng, and they were like, hey, I want the best Maofeng. And I was like, okay, it's this much money. Or like they're like, hey, I want this. And I was like, okay, it's 700 yuan, so about $100 a pound. And they go, no, that's too much. I don't have the clientele for that. I think that's a very, very interesting thing to think about. And I think that's very interesting to think about because what it means as the consumer, if we get more consumers to consume higher quality, and if we get more consumers to spend a little bit more money on tea, and we can basically open up that market. We could open up that market more. If consumers spend a little bit more money on tea, sellers will feel more comfortable buying higher priced teas, and higher priced teas will enter the market more. Whole other conversation. But I digress. I don't know if you can hear my 2 dogs in the back. Probably not. They're play fighting. And what, once again, I've already done this tasting. But what we're going to see here is we're actually going to see quite a few goodish qualities to Guan Yin, you know. But what we're going to not see is something website worthy. What we're not going to see is something that really gets me excited. I'm going to get more to that later. So what am I looking for, first of all? It's kind of hard to explain, which is what's making finding the Tie Guan Yin I really like a little difficult. It's because I can't really explain to the sellers what I'm looking for. But basically, I want a strong flavor, but I want that flavor to be balanced. And this is with a lot of Tie Guan Yin. With a lot of Tie Guan Yin, you get flavors that are dan. And dan in Chinese means light, but there's this idea of, and it can mean, but light in the sense of just soft almost, not light in the sense of diluted or lacking flavors, but like the maker intentionally made it lighter, because that's what's selling a lot for Tie Guan Yin, and that's actually what Gande Tie Guan Yins tend to be, which is why they're not really my favorite, which is why I don't say they're the best. There's a market demand for lighter Tie Guan Yins, and that's what Gande does, which is part of what plays into Gande being the most famous, but not necessarily the best. I don't really think there is a best for Tie Guan Yin right now. No, I don't think any village is really consistently putting out high quality Tie Guan Yins for a number of reasons. So we're looking at this one right here, and this one's actually pretty interesting. A little raw, maybe. I think that it's a little raw. It's a little not finished, actually. No, this one's not that interesting. This one's not that good. Yeah, this one's pretty bad. No. I'm actually just going to cut that right now. Interesting thing about Tie Guan Yin. Tie Guan Yin has the potential to be bad for your stomach. And it has to do with, and I don't really, there's a couple of things, I've talked to Chinese people about this, and so they always speak in very, not in a little more Chinese medicine sort of lingo, but it has to do with the cooling, but also the sourness, and the sourness is what I've felt before. I have tasted Tie Guan Yins that were very sour, and you felt it in your stomach, and it was not a particularly comfortable feeling. All right, so this one is so that one was 300 kwai, and it was just raw. It was just the leaves were undercooked, not done well at all, and that is a flavor. That is a flavor I had to understand I really understood raw. I had heard it before, and I had tasted teas, and I had people be like, "This tea is raw," but it took me tasting a tea leaf right off the plant, and a literally completely raw leaf, to be like, "Oh, that's what you mean." But raw, imagine a vegetalness and a touch of vanilla extract. Not vanilla extract. So that vanilla-y, but that bitter, like not particularly pleasant, but like a little bit pleasant. Like I can see where somebody might look at it. I don't like the looks of this one already. This one is, and we'll talk about that in a second. I can see where somebody might taste it and think it's like vanilla-y or like creamy, but there's a bitterness, the leaves here are looking, and I'm sorry, I can't zoom in unfortunately, but they're not looking great. They're not getting me very excited. They're looking a little empty, a little flaky. They're not looking very full. I'm not looking at very hearty, full leaves or really a good rolled shape. So you see me banging through these Tie Guan Yins, and this is actually a very, very normal way to do Tie Guan Yin when you're tasting a lot of them. If you look at the intro to my YouTube channel, you actually see a small little mini video of one time I went to Gande and a little tasting from there. And, when I talked about earlier, the guy drinking 6 to 9 Tie Guan Yins in half an hour, the reason he was able to do that is because he just did 2 or 3 steeps, like 3 steeps max per tea. But what he did is he just did really hard steeps, and that's basically what I'm about to do right with this one right here. Just bringing out that flavor, really quick, right to the front. Damn it. Yeah, it's just complete shit. really quick, right to the front, just get everything right up front, not really looking for the intricacies, but really getting the main message of the tea. And I think, like I said, I looked at the leaves, and at the leaves already, I was just like, no. And the leaves, once again, I'm sorry I can't show you the leaves, but they looked a little too flat. They looked, they didn't take in that rolled shape. They weren't juicy and hearty and oily, so they didn't kind of ball up. They just kind of like flattened, like and dying. And it's not too bad. It is hot, and that's kind of affecting it, but it's better than the first one. The first one was pretty bad. It lacked. They both kind of lack real characteristics. They both lack real characteristics. I think that's actually a perfect way to say it. They're just kind of there. Okay, that's a Tie Guan Yin. It's an oolong. It's floral. It's aromatic. Whatever. But they're the teas that make people not excited about Tie Guan Yin. And that's kind of what I'm not looking for at all. I'm looking for the teas that they're like, oh snap, this is what sorry, message. This is what Tie Guan Yin can be. Okay. Ooh. But and so going back to Tie Guan Yin and the sourness, I have personally felt I have felt sour tummy from Tie Guan Yin before, and I have felt it consistently from the same Tie Guan Yin, so I know it was from the Tie Guan Yin. I forgot why I was talking about that earlier. See, right now I'm going right to the next tea, just right to the next one. So Tie Guan Yins can be. God, I don't even know what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Sourness, tasting a lot, banging through. This one's not missing much. Who knows? Gande right now is dead leaves, dead flavor. My Guan is like a little too big, but it's not a full double size, which is a little awkward because I got to do like a pack and a half of each. This is a little weird. I got to get a good Guan. I can have that sucks. We're getting smoother and we're getting a little more structured. Didn't really have that rawness of the first one, but we're still not getting unique flavor notes. These are not the worst Tie Guan Yins I've had, and I'll say that right off the bat. I've had some raunchy Tie Guan Yins. I've just had Tie Guan Yins that were not anything. But what? Just to rinse my cup too. What we see, we're tasting Tie Guan Yin. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're producing unique notes. Now there's something different about this tea. There's flavor notes. I do have to disappear. I'm going to disappear after I pour this, so I can add more water to my. And that's the super important part about any tea. Is just, you have, for every tea, you have these core flavors that are not really going to change. Qimens, there's just a Qimen flavor. You take the Qimen cultivar and you put it through basic red tea processing. You're going to get a certain flavor. It's the Qimen flavor. Pu'er's show pu tastes like show pu. Sheng pu tastes like sheng pu. There are flavors that are just going to come from basic processing of a certain cultivar or whatnot. But what you want to look for when you're looking for good teas is, okay, now outside of this basic profile, what other flavors are there? With these first two teas, all I saw was the basic profile of Tie Guan Yin. A little bit vegetal, a little bit floral, light, a little bit of a metallic, a little bit of a sourness, but not anything real special. But at this level, and this is when we're starting to get into that 600 RMB per pound area, once we go into a little less than $100 per pound. This is when we're starting to get into other flavors. So I got a little distracted. So for all of you who speak Chinese, so I'll let my Chinese speakers take a look at this and see. It's backwards, I know. So we have Chinese characters, and then we have the pinyin. But all my Chinese speakers can see that this pinyin is not Mandarin. The Mandarin would be Shou Gong. Oh, Shou Gong Ta. What the hell does that say? Chuan Shou. Oh no! Oh, never mind. I'm dumb. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna edit that out. Yeah. All right, we're getting into the next one. Okay, so now we're getting into the 600 RMB range, and flavors are the jump. There's a big jump now, and flavors have really cleared up. Flavors have they've just really cleared up, and they've become much more precise and much more, this is who I am, sort of thing. This is much, much more enjoyable. This is now we are in the above average Tie Guan Yin with the flavors. Think about it this way, the flavors have a very clear start and stop. They're here. They're not drifting into each other. They're not getting weird. Flavors are much more defined. It's nice. But it's still light. It's still flavors defined, but they're not really pushing the envelope to say. It's almost like they got lucky, almost. Well, not lucky, but they're still almost working within the same bracket as before, just a little nicer, but still kind of in that same bracket. They're not, it's not next level yet. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that next level. This would be great. This would be a great tea for someone who wants a good Tie Guan Yin at an affordable price. At a price that most drinkers would appreciate and pay for. And I think that's, if a 600 RMB, yeah. This one's actually really nice. It's enjoyable. There's no flaws. There it is. There's no flaws. There's nothing that's making me go, ugh. And there's some nice notes to it too. There's a couple of things I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But we're not going, whoa, what's that? Whoa, that was interesting. Whoa, I've never seen that before. You're just kind of like, oh yeah, Tie Guan Yin, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's charming, dear lad. The charming lad. This tea is a charming lad. Oh, a charming lad. Charming young man. That's exactly what it is. I'm not looking for a charming young man. I'm looking for a sailor. That analogy made sense to somebody. Not a good notes. In that long steep, something not great came up. Just a little bit of unpleasantness, a little bit of that bitterness, a little bit of that kind of, almost not raw, but like maybe a little raw. Something a little unpleasant came up there. Sorry, I gotta push my thing down so I can look behind the camera. So that was the 600 RMB. We're gonna drop down really now quick to the 500 RMB. Quality-wise, I don't expect a huge difference here. 500 to 600 RMB is not much. That's not, you don't pay 100 more and then expect a completely different tea. Fuck, that hurts. Leaves are still looking dead though. They're just looking. I'll take a picture after this and show you guys what I mean. Check the Instagram. I think I can edit a picture in here actually. So I'll edit a picture at this point. If I remember, I might not remember. I might just get lazy and post the whole thing up unedited. Sorry in advance for doing that. They look flat. They're not, and they look just not great. They don't look, think about steaks. You can have, if you have a really nice Kobe steak next to a diner steak, the diner steak just looks flat. How much am I filling up my teacher here? Good. We got enough time. We got enough space. Space time. Damn, gotta eat. All right. A lot of teas at one time. The second time I've done this tasting. I don't remember that. A little bit more strength to it, but the strength is not. The strength already just smells out of balance. You're not getting a full strength. You're getting one note that's popping up by itself, which is no, which is not ideal. There's a difference. When you smell a tea, you kind of want that full boom. You don't want that one little that one thing escaping, because that's going to be an unbalanced flavor. That's going to be signs of an unbalanced flavor. I don't remember if this is a rinse or not. But yeah, this just has that one note. And hey, leave it. And leave it. There's that one note. Yes. There's that one note popping is what's going to get a lot of people excited. But when you're really looking at high quality teas, you don't want to get impressed with just that one note. That one note can be interesting. But a good high quality tea is structured, it's balanced, it's one note. It can have one extraordinary note, but there needs to be other things behind it. You can see Johnny over here. For those who don't know, for those who don't know about the recent update dog-wise, New gave birth to 2 puppies. 10 days ago today, actually. They're both 10 days old. So they should soon be opening their eyes. They still haven't opened their eyes. And David, the American Bull, hey, Relax. David, the American Bully, has a new home. I got David a new home not before him and Johnny broke my finger in a fight. They got on their very last fight, which happened because there was a door that I thought was locked but was not locked. I was grabbing him by the collar and I was pulling him apart, and I had a weird hold on. I had grabbed Johnny's collar wrong, and I think it was actually in the middle of me trying to fix my grip, and Johnny pulled or something happened and my finger broke. I didn't realize till afterwards. But yeah, David has a new home. Nunu has 2 puppies who are doing well. Yeah, they're at the 10-day point. And it's that kind of puppy fading is a thing. Puppy fading is sometimes you get puppies who just die, and you don't always know why. Most die within the first 5 days, but then you have about a month is when 30% die, something like that. Less than 50, but so past the first 10 days, which is a good marker, and I think they're going to be okay. All right, but enough about dogs. It's nice, actually. That one note didn't pop out as much. Has a little more body. It is a little stronger. This is not the stronger. What are you doing? This is not the stronger one. Which is weird because this one tastes stronger. It's nice, actually. A little bit creamy. There's a nice kind of salivating, there's like a lingering creaminess, which is actually quite nice. It's actually quite nice. I'm looking for a very specific, I'm looking for a Tie Guan Yin that's really going to just change, just going to blow my mind. But really show me something different. And I've tasted and I'm tasting now some really great Tie Guan Yins, but they're not changing the game for me. They're not that game-changing Tie Guan Yin. Especially for Tie Guan Yin, where the flavors tend to be so similar, and not particularly in a good way. A little bit done, a little bit soft. They're not. When I sell Tie Guan Yin, I want it to really be. I want people to drink it and to be like, "Whoa, that was crazy! What was that? That was different." Because I think a lot of people are not excited about Tie Guan Yin, and I think it's because there's not that many different Tie Guan Yins out there, And so yeah. So when I put out a Tie Guan Yin, it's my thing. I want it to be different. And these ones are good. These ones are very good. But I think these are the type of good that these Tie Guan Yins are good for Tie Guan Yin drinkers. If you're a Tie Guan Yin drinker and you taste this, or if you're not, yes. And if you're new to teas or you're a Tie Guan Yin drinker, I think those are the 2 people who are gonna enjoy this tea the most. Because people who are new to teas tend to can have really great palates, actually, just because they have no preset notions. Who I think won't be very excited over this tea is somebody who's had a few Tie Guan Yins before and kind of ruled Tie Guan Yin as kind of a dull tea. They're going to be like, oh yeah, it's dull again. But people who like Tie Guan Yin, who have drank a good number, will be able to see how these Tie Guan Yins are different from the rest. And then people who have no preconceived notion of Tie Guan Yin, and they're just drinking it, and they're noticing all the flavors, I think they're going to appreciate it too. Some of the most, how do I say this? Some of the people who I think have had the best palates and who have picked up on the most have been non-drinkers. For that reason, They just note it without any preconceived notions. They're really just exploring with a very open mind. And yeah, it's that Zen mind, beginner mind. For those of you who know what that is, they have the beginner's mind. All right, so we've gone through them all. We have been generally, they've been at best enjoyed, but not. That's what you're barking at. You're barking at the other dogs who are barking. They have been enjoyed, but not particularly impressed. But now for the grand finale. This is the 1800 UNT, 1,300. So you're looking a little short of $300 per pound. Fucking village dogs. Fucking village dogs. Fucking. I knew that was coming. What frustrates me is my neighbors complain about my dogs barking. Like, no, my dogs bark because your dogs bark. Fucking village dogs. Alright. So, here we go. Once again, I've already tasted this tea, so I'm not. I gotta say, I hit that with the long steep, and it's still pretty damn good. I think that tea has held up the best to a long steep. Oh, I should have looked at the leaves. Oh, those leaves are long gone. I don't even know where those are. All right. It's a good lingering flavor on that one. A very, very important part of a good Tie Guan Yin is a lingering flavor. Working at Tea Drunk once. Remember, I was working at Tea Drunk once, and I'm alone in the shop, and I'm drinking a Tie Guan Yin, and this couple walks in, and they're not there to buy tea. They were interested. Maybe I think they were tea drinkers, and they came in and they looked around a little bit. They were browsing. So I'm like, hey, how about have a little tea? Something to do. And they thank me. They drink the tea, and they're very polite, and they leave. And about 2 to 3 minutes later, they come back, and they go, we got to the corner. So Tea Drunk used to be about halfway down the block. And they said, we got to the corner, and we realized we could still taste the tea. That's Tie Guan Yin. That is a very, very important part of quality Tie Guan Yin. And they ended up buying an ounce. The other funny, another time for the other funny story about Tea Drunk's Tie Guan Yin. And so a lingering flavor, so I can still taste it, and I can taste it, but in a nice way. That's actually a very lingering flavor. Credit to them. Actually, I'm not going to overspeed this because I know what's coming. Wow. After all the Tie Guan Yins, that is a nice break. After all the Tie Guan Yins I've been drinking, that Tie Guan Yin is really refreshing, really soft, bright. It's good. It's just really good. And it's a little soft, and that's my only reason for not getting really excited. But no flaws. And really easy drinkability. Yeah, this is really good. I could almost drink this a whole lot. I could almost, like maybe I think this would be nice if I was working in a shop again and I just needed something to drink as the day went by. I think that's one of the reasons that I fell in love with Tie Guan Yin, because Tie Guan Yin is just super fucking drinkable when it's good. Like it's actually getting to this. This gets to it. It doesn't ask a lot. It doesn't demand a lot flavor wise, but it gives you stuff. But like Tie Guan Yin used to be the tea when I was working at Tea Drunk, that I would have a gaiwan of it. And I would go through my day and I would be, serving customers and busy and doing this and that. And then I would always have this Tie Guan Yin going. And then after it would finish, I would load up another one. Tie Guan Yin is a type of tea where you could do, even here in China, I've done 4 Tie Guan Yins in a row. Just boom, 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 boom. I've seen customers actually, sippers, who did 4 Tie Guan Yins in a row. Boom, 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 boom. And that's one of the really nice things about Tie Guan Yin, and I think that's the reason why I haven't really drank Tie Guan Yin in a while. And I'm not going to say that. These days, I'm drinking one at a time. These days, I'm drinking one tea at a time. Drinking one tea and then going off and doing a thing. That's really enjoyable. Really nice, really floral, soft, sweet. I want to see just a little bit more from it. I want to see a little bit more, and I'm gonna do this normally because I wonder if it just needs a little more time to wake up. I wonder if it just needs. I'll put on more water. I wonder if it just needs a little more time to wake up. I think if this tea wakes up nicely in later steeps, it's website worthy. Because it's just falling a little short flavor-wise. Please wake up. I have tried so many Tie Guan Yins. I need a win here. Give me a win. Whew. Speaking of drinking a lot of Tie Guan Yins, holy crap, I've had a lot of Tie Guan Yins. I just did like 5 Tie Guan Yins. I mean, a brew each, but still. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what this flavor is going to be. What's happening next? What's happening here? Talk to me, baby. I need a little bit more flavor. I need a little bit more. I just need a little bit more, and then we're in, and then you're good. Just need a little bit more. Come on. I need a little bit more from you. The quality is good. The quality is good. I think this is better than a lot of the Tie Guan Yins I've had in the West. A lot of Tie Guan Yins I've had here in China, actually. This is getting artisanal. That's what this is getting. Whoever made this really put in some time. Either that or they got real fucking lucky, which is also a possibility. That happens with Tie Guan Yin. The farmers, because and I talk about this more on my Instagram video, so definitely watch that too. It's on Instagram TV, at Sweetest Stew. Anxi farmers, even a household, just talking household production, yield is just higher than most other teas. And without knowing too much about pu'ers, and even without knowing too much about other teas, the Tie Guan Yin yield is pretty fucking high. And it's kind of the problem with Tie Guan Yin is that the families tend to focus a little bit more on quantity over quality, and you get a lot of not so impressive teas, as opposed to, let's say, like Wu Yishan, where Wu Yishan's households can produce a lot of tea, but the focus, and I guess it's a little different with the roasting actually, but the focus on quality is much more. There's tasting and roasting it more and lower the heat and raise the heat. It's actually a very interesting thing. I might be oversimplifying that a little bit, making some assumptions. But point is, Anxi Tie Guan Yin can get a little monotonous, partially due to the fact that there is a, from what I've seen, and I've seen a good amount, there is a focus a little bit more on quantity for Tie Guan Yin. And you, because I'm not just, and you see it, I think, in the farmers too. I think, it's, the farmers I've seen tend to be a little more, put it in this room at this time, and then go get it in 4 hours, for the fermentation step. There's not as much going back and testing and feeling for some of the steps. Come on, baby. Show me something good. You got like 2 steeps to wake up. I don't think you're going to wake up. I think I've seen you. Getting a little tea drunk right now. It's good, but I'm waiting. I'm hoping for flavors to open up. It's kind of going down the route of like vegetal. It's going kind of down the route of more normal Tie Guan Yin. Not saying it particularly is. It's still not a normal Tie Guan Yin, but it's not a special Tie Guan Yin. While I was kind of hoping it would go up, 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 it's kind of gone up, and then, Good. The last one. We've drank a lot of Tie Guan Yin here, folks. Big old bag of Tie Guan Yin, all that. We just drank all of that together. The 500 and 600 Tie Guan Yin, which are once again the Tie Guan Yins that were above average, good structure, good flavors. Those will be available in the mystery boxes. I've decided to do specified mystery boxes. An oolong mystery box, a Chimen mystery box. And this allows me to still have the same ideas of the mystery box, like, you don't know what you're going to get, but to have people have a little bit more control over it. So that's going to be good, because I am already packaging up a oolong sampler for another person. So I was like, fuck it, let me just make that an option. Yeah, now we're fading out. I was kind of hoping it would go boom, but that's not really how Tie Guan Yin works. it's good, but it's I was hoping it would go from here to here, but it's nah, or just nah. So that's kind of a bummer. But I am closer. I am closer to the quality and the flavors and the artisanalship that I'm looking for. I'm gonna go back to this guy and just send him messages, and it's hard because I don't really know what to ask for. But I'll, like, this tea was different, this tea was good, but I want something a little better. But this is similar. Like, kind of have that conversation with him and just see where that takes me. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I got stuff in the mix. I got stuff coming up. I got, moving soon. I've talked a lot about moving out of Huangshan. I am moving out of Huangshan. My contract ends in January. I have a potential next place. Small details need to be figured out, but there's definitely potential. Some stuff might be coming soon. Keep you guys updated. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe and stuff, or follow me on Instagram. Thanks.